Hey, what is up guys? Welcome back to another episode of ReaperCast. Today we have 3 new cards to talk about here. All 3 of these are coming out in Battle of Chaos, so that is definitely something to look forward to, because if they are good, it's pretty much just keeping up that this particular set is going to be one amazing set. Because honestly, so far, there's not been any bad cards or bad support that's actually been released into this set, or at least announced for this set, so if things continue the way they are, then it might potentially be one of the best sets ever. However, if you guys enjoyed this kind of video, then definitely consider dropping a like, share, comment, and also subscribe. It really does help. However, let's begin. So the first card we have here is called Iroha Momiji. Definitely really interesting to see that another synchro card is actually being announced here. Now this does seem a bit generic here in terms of its summoning method. It's a level 7 Wind Fairy Synchro effect monster of 2100 attack and 2600 defense. Little odd to see that the defense is higher in this particular circumstance, but I guess that just means that it's intended to be played more defensively. Of course, the materials require 1 tuner plus 1 or more non-tuner monsters, so very nice. It could be played in any deck that might be appropriate, and you can only use the first and second effect of this card's name each once per turn. So first effect, if this card is special summoned, you could declare 1 attribute. This card gains this effect. All face-up monsters on the field become the declared attribute. I like that, because if you declare Dark, then you pretty much go into a super poly target and easily go into a Starving Venom or your Tryptophan. Definitely fantastic. Otherwise, it might be appropriate depending on what other archetype you might be playing as well. For example, I know there's some water decks that could definitely benefit from having all your types being water. Of course, this particular effect is almost like an alternative for anyone who still wants to have a True King of All Calamities effects, but we all know that True King of All Calamities has been banned, so to have a card like this to give you the ability to actually change the attributes is definitely a welcome addition. As for the second effect, you could target 1 monster in your opponent's main monster zone. They must send 1 card in its adjacent monster zones or spell trap zones to the graveyard. Not a bad effect at all, actually pretty decent, however not too overwhelming at all. This doesn't seem like a bad card, it just doesn't seem like an overwhelmingly amazing card. But given its genericism, it definitely does hold a place in certain decks out there. Alright, so next up here, I'm very excited about this particular one. We have here a revamp of the Agent of Destruction, Venus. So in this particular case, it's not called the Agent Venus, it's called the Agent of Destruction. Very interesting to see that it's called of Destruction, turning it into a more dark being there, which is a bit reminiscent of the actual Light of Destruction, which is a type of evil force that instead of darkness, it's actually the light. So let's see what this particular card is. It's a level 3 Dark Fairy Tuner effect monster. I am very pleased to see that it is a tuner monster. I believe the original Venus was not a tuner monster. So with the fact that this is a tuner monster and the fact that Hauki Fibrax is still actually an open option, it does open up a lot of wide variety of combos out there. Of course, that's just the basis of the fact that this particular Venus might be the same or the similar kind of effect as the original Venus. So it has 0 attack and 1600 defense, and you can only use 1 effect per turn among the first and second effects of this card's name, and only once that turn. So first effect, you could banish 1 the Agent of Creation Venus from your graveyard, which is the original one of course. Special summon this card from your hand. That's okay, because the original Agent of Creation Venus was already a really powerful card anyway, and it's played in most decks out there, World Chalice, and of course in the original Agent deck. So if you're going to play this as well, it's just pretty much an added bonus. However, the fact that it is actually allowing you to do an additional special summon in this case, it's just an added bonus to it, because we could easily just normal summon this if we need to. It's assuming the fact that we're playing both the original Venus and this Venus at the same time. I'm already seeing 2 card combos happening. As for the second effect, you could pay life points in multiples of 500, then target 1 of your mystical shine balls that is banished or in your graveyard. For each 500 life points paid, special summon them, but return them to the bottom of the deck when they leave the field. Oh, that's actually pretty decent to be honest, because I like that. After you use the original Venus to summon out all your shine balls, they're pretty much going to be used up entirely. So let's actually imagine a particular scenario in this case. Let's say you had both the Agent of Creation and Destruction in your opening hand. So you have here a 2-card combo. You summon out the Venus and you summon out obviously all of the 3 shine balls, and you could potentially make a yugioh out of that. I mean, it's not surprising, right? After you do that, you pretty much can just banish off that Venus in your graveyard, and of course summon out this new Agent of Destruction Venus, and at the same time also recycle all of your mystical shine ball that were in the grave as well, that were used to actually go for your link summons. Meaning if you draw into another Venus from your deck, it actually becomes viable again because all of the mystical shine balls can be reused. And that's definitely amazing. A lot of decks already play 3 Agents of Creation Venus anyway, and the fact that people are willing to do that and now have the opportunity to recycle the mystical shine balls again is a very powerful effect, allowing you to extend so many plays that give us the potential to go into something that is far beyond what we could possibly imagine at the moment. But of course, the fact that this is a tuner monster to allow you to go into your synchro summons is very powerful as well. And I also like the fact that you could return your shine balls that are either in your graveyard or banished, because if you remember the original Master Hyperion effect, it requires you to banish off one of your light fairy monsters from your graveyard to actually destroy a card on the field. So it's going under the assumption that your mystical shine balls could be banished using Hyperion's effect. As a result, the fact that it could still recycle them regardless of whether or not it's in the graveyard or banished is a fantastic addition to this deck. Otherwise, this card has plenty of other generic purposes as long as it's played with the original Agent of Creation Venus. It's pretty much become an engine in itself. Now as for the final card, we have here Spiriting Away Onibimaru. This is a rank 2 Dark Fiend Xyz effect monster of 1900 attack and 1600 defense, and requires 2+ level 2 monsters. So it is somewhat generic. You can only use this card's name's first and second effects once per turn each. First effect, you can detach 1 material from this card, then target 1 monster your opponent controls, banish it until the opponent's end phase. That's not particularly too amazing. It allows you to declog your opponent's board, I guess, and prevents them from using one of their monsters, but it doesn't do too much else beyond that. Maybe if you could find a way to clog up the opponent's field, you could benefit off that particular effect. And it is quite interesting that it can, because think about this, this is a rank 2 monster, so you could play this in Ojamas, and Ojamas are very well known for clogging up the board, so you could actually use this first effect to get rid of one of their monsters, fill up their board using either Ojama Knight or Ojama King, and their monsters won't be allowed to come back, so it is definitely a beneficial effect in that particular standpoint. However, as for the second effect, if this card is destroyed by your opponent, you can target any number of banished monsters up to the number of materials that were attached to this card, shuffle them into the deck. That's not bad, allows you to recycle, but it doesn't really do too much else to it. Overall, I don't really see too much about this particular card, other than it could work really well in Ojamas. However, that was pretty much it for today's video, so I do hope you guys actually enjoyed this. All of these cards are definitely very interesting, of course for their specific circumstances. I'm particularly excited about the Agent of Destruction Venus, but perhaps you guys might be excited about the other cards. Definitely let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section. However, thanks for joining me today. I hope you all have a sensational day. I'll see you all next time.